Good morning, dear students of class 12. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to take up part 4 of the lesson Ivan Tries an O-Level by Colin Dexter. Now first let's have a quick recap of what we did in the previous classes. Now this lesson is based on the thought, should criminals in prison be given the opportunity of learning and education? The lesson begins with a telephonic conversation between the secretary of the examination board and the governor of the Oxford prison. This is regarding permission to allow Evans, a prisoner in Oxford prison, to appear in German O-level examination. Some information regarding the prisoner is asked by the secretary, some is provided, and one information which would not be in favor of the prisoner is not given by the governor, because that aspect the governor was going to take care of himself. Finally, the modalities of conducting the exams are chalked out on the phone and finalized. Now, Evans the Brave, who is known as Evans James Rodrigues is his full name. He is notorious and has a dubious record of breaking jail thrice. Now this time, the governor of the Oxford prison is not going to leave any chances, because the reputation of the prison and his reputation was at stake. So he was going to personally ensure that the security arrangements are foolproof. Then there is a meeting between the German teacher of Evans and Ivan. Double meaning dialogues are exchanged between the two, where the German teacher wishes him good luck and also says that the chances are very little, which can be taken both ways. Chances of his performance in the exam or chances of escaping, and good luck for escaping. Evans thanks him, thanks for wishing him good luck, or thanks for escaping, and also he ends by saying, I may surprise everybody by my performance or by escaping. Now, the following morning at 8:30, two visitors, they come to Ivan's cell, and here the two visitors are ironically Mr. Jackson, who is the senior officer of the prison wing, and Stephens, who is the junior officer. He is recently recruited to the profession. Now, when Ivan's cell is being checked, here also, instead of just listing out the things that they should be checking beforehand, we see last minute decisions are being taken, which may go wrong at times. Finally, Evans makes a request that he should be allowed to wear his hat, because he thinks this as a lucky charm, and he is permitted. Throughout the lesson, we find that there are many lapses on the part of the prison authorities, and how this clever prisoner Evans takes advantage of these lapses. Now let's continue further. At 8:40 the same morning, the Reverend Todd McClary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street and stepped out briskly towards Carfax. The weatherman reported temperatures considerably below the normal for early June, and a long black overcoat and shallow-crowned clerical hat provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle which had set in half an hour earlier and which now spattered the thick lenses of his spectacles. In his right hand he was carrying a brown suitcase which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper envelope, a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication card from the examination board, a paper knife, a Bible he was to speak to the Women's Guild that afternoon on the book of Ruth, and a current copy of the Church Times. So, Reverend Stott McCleary, he started from his flat residence towards Carfax in order to report for invigilation duty in the Oxford prison. It was drizzling, and his the lenses of his spectacles, they were wet because of the drizzle. And he was carrying a small brown suitcase, and the contents of the suitcase were a sealed question paper envelope, an invigilation form, yellow colored, and an authentication card, which was an identity card issued from the examination board, a paper knife, a Bible, and a current copy of the Church Times. So the things that he was carrying were not to be suspected, except for the paper knife, which could pose some kind of danger. But then that was also permitted because it may be required in the time of exam for cutting the seal. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15. So the exam was to start at 9:15, and he had started at 8:45 from his residence. Ivan was lathering his face vigorously when Stephens brought in 2 square tables and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk on one side and on the other a distempered stone wall. Next, Stephens brought in 2 hard chairs, the slightly less battered of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. Jackson put in a brief final appearance. "Behave yourself, laddie." Ivan turned and nodded, and these, Jackson pointed to the pin-ups of. Ivan turned and nodded again. "I was going to take them down anyway. A minister, isn't he? The chap coming to sit in, I mean." "And how did you know that?" asked Jackson quietly. "Well, I had to sign some forms, didn't I? And I couldn't help." Ivan drew the razor carefully down his left cheek and left a neat swath in the white leather. "Can I ask you something, Mr. Jackson? Why did they have to bug me in this cell?" He nodded his head vaguely to a point above the door. "Not a very neat job," conceded Jackson. "They are not. They don't honestly think I'm going to try to. They're taking no chances, Evans. Nobody in his senses would take any chance with you. Who's going to listen in? I will tell you who's going to listen in, laddie. It is the governor himself. See, he don't trust you a bloody inch, and nor do I. I'll be watching like a hawk, Ivan. So keep your nose clear." He walked towards the door. Ivan nodded. He's already thought of that. And number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on the bunk. A neatly folded square of white linen. "Just one more thing, Einstein." "Yeah, what's that?" "Good luck, old son." Now just see. The invigilator had started. 9:15 the exam was going to begin, and Ivan was in his cell. He was lathering his face, shaving, and Stephen was making arrangements by putting tables and chairs. Jackson, he came in, and then some last-minute security arrangements he saw. And just see the manner in which Ivan was conversing with the senior officer Jackson. He knew everything, who was going to be the invigilator also. He already knew well in advance. It was a minister from the church. And when Jackson asked him, how did he know it? He said, when I was signing the form, I just saw. And then further, he began by wanting to know that why he should be made to sit and appear in the exam in the cell. And even Jackson agreed with him. And then he also said, probably nobody wants to take any chance with you, seeing your track record. And then further, he wants to know who was going to listen when he was taking the exam. Now, he is taking information from the senior officer. And the senior officer is also passing on the information without taking any precautions. He says it's the governor himself, and even I'm going to do it. Just see, they are having a conversation with a criminal in such a friendly manner. They are showing too much of compassion and dignity to a prisoner. Now, and when a senior officer who is in charge of the security arrangement, he becomes too pally with the prisoners and starts a conversation, maybe they may forget some important things during cross-examination, during the security arrangements, while checking the cell. And probably this lapse is going to cost them too much. We'll stop here and we'll continue with the remaining in the next class. Thank you.